There's more to small cars than just size. Sure, compact cars are going to be affordable and good on gas by their very nature. But can people still fit inside? Do they have the same features as bigger cars? How much space is even in there anyway? Today, we have the Toyota Corolla and Hyundai Elantra, two of the most common cars you'll find on the used market. To answer these questions and more, let's get started. Hi, I'm Ryan with Edmunds. Each year, we test and review hundreds of cars, while CarMax experts buy, sell, and appraise thousands and thousands. We're combining our car testing knowledge with their experience to help you make the right choice on your next car. Before we get started, click the like button and hit subscribe to see more CarMax videos just like this one. If you'd like to read a full in-depth article about both of these cars, click the link in the description below. First up, we have the 2020 Toyota Corolla. The Corolla was redesigned for the 2020 model year, so that means it gets a fresh look and a fully modernized structure underneath. In many ways, we've found that makes this model much improved over the 2019 version. On average, CarMax sells 2020 Corollas for about $17,000, depending on things like the trim level, mileage, options, and other factors. And then there's the 2020 Hyundai Elantra. This version of the car actually debuted in 2017, and 2020 was the final year for this version. That does make it a little bit more affordable, and we consider it still pretty modern thanks to a great selection of features inside. But to be honest, it feels a little bit dated next to the Corolla in ways that we'll show you in just a minute. CarMax sells the 2020 Elantra for an average around $16,000, again depending on the trim level, mileage, options, and other factors. So, what do you need to know about these cars from the outside? I got you covered. Let's start with the model that debuted a new look in 2020. Compared with the 2019 Corolla, this edition looks fresh. It looks modern. It looks friendly. We were a bit reluctant to recommend Corollas in the past, but because of its styling and other features we'll show you soon, the 2020 Corolla earns a much stronger recommendation. Next up is the vehicle that held its swan song with the 2020 model. This look came on the Hyundai Elantra for its 2019 and 2020 versions. Here's a key distinction from the Corolla. Notice how the roof ends right here at the end of the trunk lip. That creates more storage space. Hint, hint. Now that we've covered the basics, let's pop inside and see where these cars start to separate themselves from one another. Remember, both of these cars are 2020 models, but the Corolla was new that year, and it shows. These are nice materials for a Corolla, like a soft dashboard and grippy shifter. This is a big deal because the Corolla traditionally comes with a lot of cheap, hard plastic. Not anymore. This is also a spacious cabin with pretty good room in the back seat, which is easy even for people 6 feet or taller, like me, to get inside. If you need to move around in the front seat to get comfortable, they offer a lot of adjustability, so you can find the position just the way you like it. The base Corolla comes standard with this 7-inch touchscreen and Apple CarPlay. But there is no Android Auto on 2020 models, so if you need that, look for a 2021. Frankly, I would recommend trying to find an XLE or XSE trim level. Those have some nicer amenities like faux leather seats and an upgraded 8-inch touchscreen, just to make your experience a little nicer. Now, let's check out the Elantra. Older bones actually serve the Elantra quite well, and I'll show you how. But first we should address the materials here because they're not quite as nice as those in the Corolla. There is still a lot of hard plastic, and the seats feel pretty flat in this value edition trim. If it were me, I would look for the limited to get some upgrades like leather seats, a nicer stereo, and a lot more. But the value edition does come with some nice features like heated seats and a sunroof. One thing to know is that there's no standard touchscreen on the base Elantra SE model. So look for the SEL or this value edition to get a 7-inch touchscreen that has both Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. I also like this touchscreen a little bit better than the one in the Corolla. It just looks nicer and it's easier to use. You can also leave yourself voice memos like this.
You're doing a great job, Ryan.
Thanks, Ryan. Taller folks will have to duck to get into the back seat due to that sloping roofline. But once back there, they should be able to get comfortable pretty quickly. These are small sedans, but there's more room inside than you might expect, even for taller passengers. The Corolla feels newer, because it is, and the Elantra packs a lot of features inside. And while they focus on value, they're also quite comfortable, though you can really tell the difference once you get up into higher trim levels. What do you say we hop inside and see how they perform? The Corolla's philosophy is, keep it simple. It has smooth and responsive steering and braking. And while that doesn't elevate the Corolla into the upper tier of its class, it does work pretty well altogether. There are two engines to pick, a 1.8 liter or a 2.0 liter. I'm just gonna be honest, neither is very fast. So if you're looking for performance, look elsewhere. On the plus side, you can still get a manual transmission or a CVT automatic. And the Corolla has a low curb weight and good balance on the road. Drive it smooth and you'll be rewarded with a solid, comfortable ride and a few surprise smiles every once in a while. You have more choice when it comes to the Elantra. So, is that a good thing? There are three available engines, a 1.4 liter, a 1.6 liter, and ours has a 2.0 liter. These are also pretty slow. There's a lack of speed even with the turbocharged models. But the Elantra has a polished and consistent drive. Models from 2017 to 2019 had a 6-speed automatic, but the 2020s have a CVT transmission. And there's no manual option. On the road, the Elantra only offers okay ride comfort and noise levels. It's also not a thrill to drive, and we wish it was a touch more comfortable. But it's easy to use. My advice, drive it mellow. The Corolla feels much more modern, again, because it is. And even if it's not its best attribute, the handling is there. The Elantra is a pretty slow cruiser, and it keeps the learning curve as low as possible. So, they're small. But what are the pros and cons that come with that? We've established that the Corolla is newer, but surprisingly, that doesn't help it pull away from the pack when it comes to trunk space. Its maximum overall capacity is just 13.1 cubic feet, which is only average for the class. You remember that flat deck that we talked about? That's partly why. There aren't any levers back here to fold down the rear seats. And even when they do fold down, they don't go all the way flat. Sure, it's fine for groceries or duffel bags, or a collapsing table. But you get more in rivals like the Honda Civic, or a hatchback like the Volkswagen Golf, or, you know, that guy. Interior storage is also on the light side. There just aren't very many compartments, and those that are there are rather small. When it comes to child seats though, there's plenty of space in the back seat, and Toyota makes it easy to find those latches. If you're looking for the best fuel economy, the Corolla makes it easy. The 2.0 liter engine with the most power also has the highest EPA estimated fuel economy at 34 MPG combined. Yes, it's only on the SE and XSE models, but it's the best option. Although the 1.8 liter also has good ratings at 33 MPG or 32 MPG on the XLE trim. Well. It appears the older model has a little bit of wisdom up its sleeve. Maximum cargo capacity for the Elantra is 14.4 cubic feet. That's very good for the class, and it's in large part due to that sloping roofline. This is about as big as it gets before you get into hatchbacks and larger mid-sized sedans. Plus, there are levers in the trunk to fold down the rear seats. But like the Corolla, they don't go into a completely flat floor. Also, there are much larger bins inside the cabin of the Elantra. You just may need to scooch up the front seats if you're going to fit child seats in the back. The EPA estimated fuel economy goes all the way up to 36 MPG on the Eco trim, but there aren't a lot of those around. Instead, try the 2.0 liter, which is also good at 34 MPG, and you have a lot more choice when it comes to trim levels. That's probably the most well-rounded engine, and it's our pick in the Elantra. The Corolla is a competent combination of space and efficiency. On the other hand, the Elantra is clearly designed to maximize storage and fuel economy. It wins here, handily. The neat thing about the Toyota Corolla and the Hyundai Elantra is that they provide a strong package for people on the go at an attractive price. And your decision between them could come down to two ways to think about them. On the one hand, you could say that even though the 2020 Elantra is an older body style, you get superior storage and the potential for a better fuel economy rating than the Corolla, at a lower price. On the other hand, you could also say that for marginal sacrifices in space and efficiency, you can get a new Corolla with a more comfortable ride than the Elantra. What to do? What's for sure is that these are two closely matched sedans that promise lots of miles of practical transportation on the road ahead. Head down to the comments and let us know which would be your pick, Corolla or Elantra, and then get ready to have some fun. Thanks for watching. Be sure to click subscribe, and for a full in-depth article on both of these models, click the link in the description below.